Hello there and welcome. Today I want to talk to you about burdock. Burdock is a common plant here in the Americas and is typically considered a weed. It prefers disturbed areas like the edges of fields, roadsides. It's also, I've found it a lot at the base of old barns. So it grows in places where people run into it a lot and they don't necessarily value it. And that's where the idea that it's a weed comes from. But in fact, burdock has so much potential. It's got edible qualities, it has medicinal properties, its flowers provide a valuable bridge between the die-off of the summer flowers and the blooming of the goldenrods and other flowers like that. One of its most defining characteristics are the burrs. You'll find them in your dog's coat, your own coat. Kids get them caught in their hair. They cling. That's what they're known for. They've got tiny little hooks. They're actually a main inspiration for our modern day convenience of Velcro. And that Velcro-like quality is not just to be a nuisance to us, not just to cling to our dog's coat and make us cut chunks out of our hair. It's very valuable for the plant itself. It's the spreading mechanism. The hooks catch on a passersby and carry that seed somewhere else where it can grow and spread more burdock. Those distinctive burrs actually only appear in the plant's second year of growth. Burdock is a biennial, which means it lives for 2 years before dying off. The first year of growth, it only grows a small rosette of leaves. The second year, it shoots up a flower stalk, which then produces the seeds. In that second winter, the root has died. It will not come back again, and it will live on through its babies that it has spread using its burrs. Now, from previous knowledge of this patch of burdock, I'm guessing that this is a second-year plant. It's growing much larger and faster than plants that I found over there, and it is in a spot that I remember a plant being last year. Now, for burdock leaf ID, you want to make sure that the tops of the leaves are this nice dark green color, but the undersides are almost a silver. They're not actually shiny. They're just a very, very pale green. They have tiny hairs, soft hairs that run on the bottom, and there are coarser hairs, mostly centered around the veins on the top. The mid vein is purple down at the base, running up, and the veins stick out on the bottom. They're raised. When it first comes up, it will only be 2 of these leaves, but then will grow into a rosette. The leaves are slightly serrated on the edges, definitely ruffled, but when you flatten it out, there are slight serrations. See how the edges are wiggly? And they are heart-shaped. They have 2 almost lobes at the bottom, these that make it into a heart. At this stage, the leaves are still edible. They're verging on a little bit too old, losing some of their tenderness. But you can cook them much as you would do kale or another tougher garden vegetable. Burdock has other edible qualities as well. In the first year of growth, the roots are edible. Harvesting roots typically happens in either the fall or very early spring, just as the plant is coming up, because you want the roots to harvest while there's still energy stored in them. In the fall, that's my preferred time, because then you have the best combination of being able to ID the plant and the most stored in the roots. This time of the spring is also good, because it is just starting to expend that energy that is stored for the winter. So I have dug up, there are some first year plants down here, and I have pre-dug one up. So you can see that burdock has this long, almost tuber-like root. It's a very starchy root, and typically you want to cut it horizontally, otherwise it's a little stringy. The second year flower stalk is also edible before it has produced any flowers. With this and with the roots, you want to be careful. You're killing either with the root the whole plant or with the flower stalk next year's growth. So be sparing with that. Make sure you have a healthy patch and that you are sustaining your population so you have more in the future.